All right, welcome everyone to this Fireside Chat. My name is Adrienne Asta. I'm proudly serving as the president of the Massage Therapy Foundation. And I'm excited today to have with us Gordon McDonald from Gordon's the executive director of the Registered Massage Therapists of British Columbia, but today he is here to help us talk about the new partnership we have this year. Beginning February 1st, the Massage Therapy Foundation went into partnership with the Canadian Massage Therapy Association as well. So they're really helping us to bring our efforts in research and community service and education to the world. So you're helping us with our global infiltration of all of the positivity that massage therapy brings. So Gordon serves on the Massage Therapy Foundation's research committee. So he knows a ton about what we do, especially in the research arm of the foundation. And I would like to turn it over to Gordon to tell us a little bit about the CMTA and what their mission is, etc.
Well, thanks, Adrienne. Thanks very much, everyone, for coming online today. So I'm actually the president of the CMTA. Amy Lynn Graves, who's on here as well, she is the vice president. Big wave there. So again, thanks for having us. The CMTA used to be the Canadian Massage Therapy Alliance, and about a year ago, we changed to an association. And basically what the mandate is that we are the national representatives for massage therapy across Canada. So in Canada, for those that don't know, we have 5 provinces that are regulated, with a few more coming on board, we hope. And then we have provinces that do not have regulation currently, but are seeking regulation. So the mandate of the CMTA is to really try and has been for quite some time, to set a practice standards across the country, educational standards across the country, so that no matter where you're practicing in the Great White North, that the patients and the public are assured that you have competent, safe, and ethical practitioners. So that's sort of our mandate. And one of the things that we've at the RMTBC, where, as Adrienne said, I'm the executive director, we've had a relationship with the Massage Therapy Foundation since, I think, officially 2016. Jeannie, is that right?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. So and of course we've had that relationship because of course we've had our own research department, and I'll use that in quotations. It wasn't really much of a department. We had a couple of folks who were leaders within that area of practice. And so from the RMTBC's perspective, we've probably over the last 10, 12 years have funded over $400,000 in research projects. And so one of the things that we saw the value of being with the Massage Therapy Foundation was the fact that I'm a person that doesn't like reinventing the wheel. So I'm sitting there going, these folks have got something that's working, and they've got resources that sure, we could develop our own resources, and it would cost us an arm and a leg, and so why not join forces and do that? And so, having had such success with the RMTBC and the relationship with Massage Therapy Foundation, I approached the leadership of the CMTA last year about building a partnership nationally. So basically, we have the intent is really to have a pan-North American approach to massage therapy research. So that's my soapbox speech.
Yes, this is great. Gordon, one of the things that we maybe talk about here in the States, at least amongst the colleagues that I'm associating with, is the differences from province to province. So how is that addressed in CMTA? You know, we have similar conversations here in the States about different states having different requirements. So just wanted to kind of look at how it's handled by our neighbors up north.
Sure. So if you're coming from a province that's regulated, in other words, the provincial government has licensure requirements and registration requirements for those practitioners, then we have a labor mobility agreement across Canada. So, and this is the same labor mobility agreement that's effective for nurses and physicians and any of the other health professions, that you can basically move from one province to the other fairly seamlessly. In most cases, the only requirement is that you'll have to do a jurisprudence exam because, of course, you know, legislation and regulation changes from province to province. For those individuals who are working in unregulated provinces, for them to be able to go into a regulated province right now sometimes requires them to either take a refresher over and above having to write the exam ultimately. And in some cases, we've seen where, at least in the province of British Columbia, where individuals coming from an unregulated province, particularly Alberta, where they basically have had to take the whole program again in British Columbia in order to meet the requirements of the regulator. The intent of the CMTA, though, of course, is to try and assist those provinces that are seeking regulation with that. So those of us who are regulated are saying, okay, here's some of the tools that have been used to get to that point, and we're happy to share that expertise and share in, you know, the development of bylaws or whatever it is that the government in that particular province is requiring of those associations. So that's kind of where the CMTA is, along with, you know, attempting to make sure that everyone is meeting the same sort of practice standards, because ultimately, it makes the walk to getting regulation much easier from a political perspective if the politicians know that, you know, whether you're coming from point A or point B, that there's commonality there, right? That there's, you know, there's some standard of ethics, there's a standard of practice that's in place, and people are required to meet that. And there's rigor within the profession, whether it's regulating itself or whether it's, you know, it's being regulated through an association. And that's, you know, it's the whole issue of having that rigor that, you know, impresses upon the politicians that, you know what, if we only have to change the legislation, and, you know, and it can be demonstrated to them that it's, you know, an easy walk, then it makes it much easier for them to be able to go forward and say, yeah, you know what, we'll give you regulation and you can become self-regulating.
Thank you for that. Anybody have any questions for Gordon or Amy Lynn? When do the Canadians gather?
Adrienne?
Yes.
I think Dolly does.
Oh, Dolly.
Gordon, how many provinces are regulated and how many are not? What's the ratio?
So we've got 5 provinces that are currently regulated. Saskatchewan is on the books to be regulated, hopefully in the next little while. Manitoba as well is looking to regulation, and they've had some, you know, they've had ongoing discussions with the government. Amy Lynn in Nova Scotia, they've been working how many years now, Amy Lynn, for regulation?
20 plus. Wow.
So yeah, so it takes, you know, the unfortunate part is, and I'm sure it's much like your jurisdiction, you know, the politicians change, the parties change that are in power. And so, you know, what was, you know, well down the track yesterday, all of a sudden now we're starting at ground zero again. And that, you know, and unfortunately that's what happens from time to time. And so, you know, it's as I say, the easier you can make it, the better. Hopefully it'll be that you'll be able to be successful.
And Nova Scotia is a confusing province because we don't have government oversight on our profession, but we have titles protection legislation. So we have protected titles of the titles massage therapist, registered massage therapist, etc., but not of the profession of massage therapy. So it's kind of like a half legislation, but not the full step that we're looking for. So we're still in the process of getting that as well.
What's the biggest barrier right now, Amy Lynn?
Healthcare crisis. So dealing with doctor shortages, nurse shortages, trying to basically trying to get the government to look at massage therapists when we're not necessarily a priority in the bigger scheme of things. But we are also in the process in Nova Scotia in particular of redesigning our healthcare system. And they're looking at kind of combining different regulated health professions. So until that's done, they're not even looking at regulating any professions.
Wow.
Okay.
Susanna asks, how may we learn from the research and projects funded in Canada?
So, one of the, I was saying to Marla earlier that, in BC anyways, we've had some interest shown by our provincial auto insurance provider, the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, which is a Crown corporation, as well as WorkSafe BC, which is the sort of the rehab folks that look after workplace injury and rehabilitation. Both of those organizations fund massage therapy as a treatment. And in fact, the RMTBC has agreements with them around their compensation that they offer. And it's the same in basically all the provinces. Those you have the insurers and you have the folks from the provincial rehab group who fund massage treatments for their clients. One of the things that both of those parties would like to do in British Columbia is to do a research project on the efficacy of massage therapy on motor vehicle accident victims, as well as within the context of rehabilitation with some of the workplace injury pieces. So I was saying to Marla that they're keenly interested in doing that, and I need to find myself a proposal to help get that going. And which is one of the reasons why, again, the resources that you have may be able to come full circle to help us out on that. And, and of course, there may be, obviously, I would think there would be benefit across the border around that, the findings of that sort of research, because, whether you have a car accident in Seattle or you have one in Vancouver, it's still a car accident. So.
Right. And, the IJTMB is an international journal. So if you haven't subscribed already, the IJTMB is a international journal of therapeutic massage and bodywork, which is partially funded by the RMTBC. Thank you, RMTBC, for your donations to make the journal run. So that journal is online. It's free. It's quarterly. It's peer reviewed, PubMed indexed, full article, open access, all of the yummy things that are uncommon, honestly, for professional research trade journals. I get a notification in my email quarterly that it's come up, and loads of good stuff in there as well.
I would
Adrienne,
say, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and in addition to looking for readers, we're also looking if you or anyone are interested in writing and submitting an article to IJTMB. And we're also often looking for reviewers as well, for reviewers for the journal. So if you or a friend, spread the word. But it is, again, free thanks to the funding of MTF and the funding of our MTBC for all. But both, and I should make a lot of people, I didn't know this when we first, the journal is going into its 15th year. So we're going to be celebrating an anniversary this fall. But the other way it's free is for authors, because most scientific journals, there's a fee to a large fee to submit a paper or an article. So that's another benefit and something that we're proud of with our journal, that there is no fee, and there is quite a bit of mentorship when needed for newer authors. So, if you're even a little be nervous or concerned, reach out and talk to one of our editors. They're very, very nice ladies. It's, I believe, the first time we have 3 actually female editors, and from 3 different countries for the first time. Our editor-in-chief is from Canada, from Ontario, I believe, and our 2 section editors or associate editors, one is from the States and one is from Australia. So they're a great team, and check it out.
Adrienne, you'd asked earlier about, some of the things that we're looking for through this partnership. And one of the things I think that is exciting for us is the whole issue around MassageNet. Because I've probably said this before, that one of the pieces that we have struggled with, like both our membership and I know the membership of some of the other associations, is the fact that people, by and large, they want to, if they're going to use research, they want to know how that's going to impact in a positive way the outcomes for their patients, right? How do I take that knowledge and put it into practice? And so I think that, with the MassageNet tool being developed and the encouragement of getting people to go down that road, I think that's pretty exciting, and it's something that we're certainly trying to promote, so that you get, Canadians get full benefit of it as much as you folks across the line. So
For sure.
I don't know if Adrienne or Nikki, Nikki, I know you're on, if somebody would like to give just a little overview of MassageNet, because for those who are not aware of it, and also for those who will be listening to the recording. So Nikki or Adrienne or Ginny, if somebody would like to give an overview of it, that would be wonderful.
Nikki, are you able to?
Well, I'm currently in the car and I can talk. I probably shouldn't turn my camera on just because it usually makes people nervous I'm hands-free, but it makes people nervous when I'm driving and on the car. But yeah, so MassageNet is a practice-based research network that is shortened to PBRN. And so you'll oftentimes hear that acronym PBRN. And it is essentially a repository of like-minded individuals that are interested in participation and engagement with research that are part of some sort of discipline. So PBRNs and practice-based research networks came into being from primary care in medicine. And it was essentially a way to try and link researchers who tend to conduct their work in academic settings, which are separate from where medicine is practiced and primary care is practiced, and where patients are seeking services. And so the PBRN was a way to link researchers and clinicians and patients together, so that if there was a research question or a research study that wanted to be conducted in patients or within a clinical setting, there were folks that had already indicated interest that they would be interested in, looking at the types of studies that were being done and potentially participating or helping to recruit and engage their patients. And so this model has been adopted by several other disciplines, including integrative medicine overall. There's a couple of large integrative medicine PBRNs, one BraveNet, which is here in the States. And the unit, however, with BraveNet is on the hospital or medical system level, versus other PBRNs that are focused on integrative medicine and integrative practices, such as PRACI, which is down in Australia. And it includes all manner of different clinical practices and disciplines, but that's at the clinician level. So particular clinicians will sign up as part of the PBRN. And when they do interact with research and researchers, it can be in several different forms. It can be in the form of as the clinician, as the research subject. So if it's a question about how clinicians practice or what they're thinking or things of that nature, then they can participate in that research. Or it can be that they are able to facilitate a research study or an intervention that they're trained in and gather data with their clients, or they may be the facilitator to be able to reach out to their clients who might meet specific criteria that could then be enrolled in the research. So there's all manner of different ways that PBRNs are, how they manifest in work, but ultimately PBRNs and MassageNet is one of them, one of the goals is to incorporate the members of the PBRN in research design and in conducting research. And that's something that long term, we are very much looking forward to doing and getting funding for, so that the members of the PBRN are coming up with research ideas and are able to be engaged at all levels of that research.
Which
So
we can do
that's-
cross-border easily. And currently,
Yes.
there's, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 2 open projects and 2 calls for practitioners to connect with MassageNet and participate in two current projects that you are currently recruiting for.
Well, there's one is already, actually one is completed, and there's one still looking at emotional well-being and mental health knowledge, that massage therapists and how they consider mental health in their practice. So that one's still being recruited for, but very excitingly, we are getting close to the next steps of the Massage Therapy Foundation's ergonomics project, where again, massage clinicians will be the subject of the research studies, but it's looking at the impact of the work and the effort of the work, of doing the work, and how that's measured. We're looking at having wearables on the massage therapists, and they'll be wearing these wearables during a routine and regular week of work, massage work. Sorry, I got.
Thank you, Nikki. You seem to drop out. Thank you so much. I don't know if you could still hear us. But that is like just another way to connect, to have practitioners from Canada connect with MassageNet and participate as a clinician in research. So
Marla, there was a question, I think Logan asked a question whether Quebec was regulated, and unfortunately they are not currently, nor are they members of the CMTA currently.
yes, I will put a PBRN link on. Oh, you did. Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, I did make it back. And I did put the link to the MassageNet website. MassageNet does have its own separate website. Nikki may have said that I got knocked off for like 3 minutes. And you can also access it though through our website as well, the MTF's Massage Therapy Foundation.org. But it's in the chat if you want to check it out and sign up to be a part of it. We'd love to have you, and spread the word, please.
There was another question. Are RMTs providers via insurance or another avenue in Canada?
So we have third-party insurers that fund massage therapy for their insurance holders. So you know, most of the large, like Pacific Blue Cross and others, they fund massage therapy treatments. And then of course, there's also, you know, people will pay for massage therapy treatments on their own as well. But you know, for the most part, most people, they have healthcare benefits, then massage therapy is one of the practices that are supported by those third-party insurers.
There was also another question on the ergo data. The phase 1 has been completed, yes, but we are entering into phase 2. So thank you for that question, and more information will be on our website on that as well. And I could put a link to that page.
Or I don't want to put you on the spot, Portia, if you aren't able to, but if there's anything you do want to say.
Not putting me on the spot. Sorry again, same thing with no video, just kind of running around. But I was expecting this. Yes, we do. We did receive IRB approval, so Institutional Review Board approval for the Ergo project. That happened last week, and we are in the process of getting things to move forward. We'll have a discussion with that. We have a Board of Trustees meeting next week, and that's when we're gonna kind of start to hammer out that. But I am hoping to have that soon. So if you go ahead and sign up, you will receive information as soon as we officially launch that we are ready to go and recruit participants. We absolutely would love to have Canada be represented, and I know we're getting some help with that as well, to get some of the devices up there, and look to recruit and collect some of your data, and then I get to have the fun job of helping to analyze it, along with our friends at Biotics that are working with this project. So yes, please sign up. That's how you'll hear about it, and we'll move forward from there.
Thanks, Portia. Can't wait to see you next week. Thank you for that. All right.
I should add, Adrienne, that, one of the benefits of this partnership is the fact that, we have some small associations across Canada that have, small numbers of members. And as much as, they're very keen, their members are in research, there's no way that they would be able to have the resources to be able to do what, I think this partnership can add. So, that's one of the pieces I think that was very attractive to some of our smaller colleagues in as associations, was the fact that, there's power in numbers and there's resources in numbers. So it makes it that much more attractive, and also obviously, a resource that they would like to have filled, but were unable to do so on their own. So by doing this through the CMTA, that makes it available to them. So
There's, there is a lot we can do when we do it together.
absolutely.
There's another question. For those Canadian therapists that are in a province that don't have a CMTA organization, is there any way to join or be a part? And if so, how or in what way?
Well, Alberta, I guess, would be the province at this point that we know that there are no members of the CMTA, as well as Quebec. I think if the individual asking the question is in that jurisdiction, then I would encourage them to talk to the leadership of the association that they belong to, and see about whether they're able to to support this venture or not. I think it's fair to say that for many years, I think people questioned the validity of the CMTA, which is something that happens with, I think, all organizations. But over the last 2 years, one of the things that the management team of the CMTA has committed to is the fact to bring value to all of our association members and their membership. So, building this relationship with the MTF, along with, some of the other initiatives that we've taken on. I mean, we have a national health and dental plan now that members from CMTA associated associations can join, and that's always been a big thing for many therapists, because of course they're self-employed and contractors in some ways. So the more value that the CMTA can bring, I think the more attractive it makes it for individuals. And I think it's fair to say that people are sometimes like elephants; they never forget. So anything that we can do to try and change that perspective, I think the management team of the CMTA is all about trying to accomplish that. So. But if you're out there, go and lobby your organization to come back. If you were joined and didn't and are no longer, come back. And these all associations are welcome to join and I mean, at the end of the day, as Adrienne said, there's strength in numbers, and ultimately, I think to legitimize massage therapy, which I'm sure in the United States is no different than in Canada, where the public perspective from time to time has been has questioned the legitimacy of massage therapy. And, when you look at the other health professions, they have national exams, they have a national curriculum, they have all of those things. And massage therapy shouldn't be any different. I think massage therapy has the opportunity to have those exact same elements. And, by having partnerships such as this, it legitimizes the profession. So, it's taking all of those elements and showing people that, whether you're massage therapist, or whether you're a physiotherapist, or whatever the case may be, the public expects that there's a set standard, and I think the CMTA wants to strive towards setting that standard and encouraging good practice, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what attracts patients, is positive outcomes.
Right.
So,
For sure.
So there was a question on how we learn from research and projects funded in Canada, but maybe we can combine this question and answer it with MTF, because that is an international conference. Perhaps, I don't know, Jenny, or would you like to talk to that? Because to get Canadians involved in case reports from, the percentages of case reports and that we get from Canadian schools is huge. There's a lot of collaboration already.
Yeah, and actually MTRAC, our International Massage Therapy Research Conference, is actually the first place where we collaborated with our MTBC. And several folks in the province were involved with our original planning committee. Our MTRAC conference started in 2005 and then went 5 years to 2010. And then after that has run every 3 years. We, bring in researchers. It's changed a little bit over the years, the focus and the theme, but it is a place where folks can bring their research and present it to an audience of massage therapists and some researchers as well. And poster sessions are there. We're highly encouraging. Our deadline for the case report contest that we have is coming up June 1st. We've had a case report contest, I don't know, maybe 12 years, 15 years now. And initially it was both a student and a practitioner case report contest. And we struggled in particular to get the practitioner case report submitted. So several years back, we put that piece of what we do on hold, and we brought it back this year. So we highly encourage, if you can't make it this year, to keep it in mind, to consider submitting a case report. The more case reports we have, that's what starts to build the research out there, based on one client. So MTRAC is where we haven't solidified it for sure, but it's looking likely that it'll be the next one in 2025. And not sure where, but more details on that hopefully this summer or this fall. I don't know if there's anything else, particularly our researchers, Nikki or Portia, want to add, or you, Adrienne.
It's a good time. You come and learn a bunch, and it's a lot of brain energy. So when you come to the MTRIC conferences, prepare your brain to have a lot of information be thrown at it. There's a lot. It's interesting to see the group of people who are really interested in this information, and we were thrilled though in 2022 there was a great amount of new faces, people who haven't been to MTRIC before. Far more than half of the audience was that. So to me, that tells me that people we want to know more, right? We want to get deeper into that information, and that's important I think for the goals that we're trying to achieve in this partnership, especially, is that if we have a really sharp understanding or even can show that we have this constant desire to know more and learn more, and why is this working and how is it working, I think that it alone really is looked highly upon, kind of this pursuit of knowledge, this curiosity that's constant. So I was encouraged by seeing a new crop of people come to that conference. It's promising.
Well, and to add to that, Adrienne, I think that one of the really nice things about the MTech conference is it's really about expanding awareness of the research that is out there. And by virtue of learning about that research and in a really, it gets intricate, but it's done in such a way that it's meant to speak to and disseminate to clinicians. It truly is. And so there's a lot of learning by way of just being engaged and interested in the story that the research is telling, like the hows and the whys, and the impact of it. And so our speakers are researchers, and what's really fun is they love coming to it because they come in and it's like, we've never been to a conference where there's just as many people at the end of the conference as there is at the beginning of the conference. And people are like giving the researchers standing ovations, and they're like, hey, it's a very welcoming audience for the researchers to come and speak about their work. And it's a very engaging time. So I was really thrilled to see the amount of folks that were at the MTREC, and especially the new folks. But I think it's also important to recognize that it was also one of the very first things post-COVID that the massage industry had in that large of a gathering. So that was pretty exciting. And I know that we have great plans and hopes for MassageNet to be able to have a really large presence and an opportunity to start developing research questions from within the PBRN at the next MTREC. So yeah, the partnership with Canada and otherwise will be hopefully very well highlighted during that in 2025.
It's a very approachable space and non-intimidating, because I think and there's a various spectrum of folks who are newer to research, who are practitioners or who have been involved or are very involved or interested. So I think anybody can feel comfortable, and there's a lot of interchange with the speakers, the researchers, with the practitioners who are there, and the mix of folks who are there. It gives, really an opportunity for exchange.
There's a question, Nikki, for you. If the question is, if we cannot check all of the boxes in your exceptional case report framework checklist, is it still worth submitting?
Yes. So, and what will become important is the pieces that are missing and potentially acknowledging what those pieces are, especially when you're doing retrospective case reports. So when you're looking at it, through a review of your SOAP notes and things like that you weren't collecting it prospectively as you were going along. Sometimes that shows up. You might not have all of that information. So just acknowledging it is important. And a reminder that framework is adapted from the medical case report guidelines, and specific to massage therapy work. So yes, I would say it is important. And so long as you acknowledge that, and then your editor and reviewers may be able to help shape that. And if it's not addressed completely appropriately or as in-depth as it should, the reviewers and editors should be able to help you shape that.
And where can we find this exceptional framework, Nikki?
Oh, let's see. The TMB Adapted Care Guidelines were published in IJTMB. Golly, I think in 2014 was when those were published. Oh my gosh, it's almost a decade. Wow. We also did an audit not long after that, where we looked at all of the case reports that were published from massage clinicians prior to those case reports those guidelines being published, and did an audit just on the extent to which the various components that are important were included. And it's almost time, because I said in that audit that we would do it again in like 10 years, and we're getting close to needing to do that audit again.
I just put up a link to the article, and it was 2014.
My
It's
memory
not
is
okay
not
that
completely shot.
2014 was almost a decade ago.
Yeah, it's scary.
know.
Yeah, it's in the chat if anybody is interested in connecting.
So Amy Lynn, the turnout typically for MTRIC, are close to 300 to upper 200. Ginny, you would have the.
Yeah, it actually has fairly widely varied where dependent on timing and where we've had it. It's not been smaller than 150 and it's been close to 300 at a couple points. So it's kind of on average been kind of in between that. I think we were at like 175, 180 in 2022. I believe that was the count. And I think 2015 in Seattle was the largest. We were just under 300.
Does anybody else have any questions for anybody here? Actually, throwing out any questions in terms of cross-border collaboration, research, MTRIC, anything.
I'd just like to say, thanks for everybody coming out. We're really excited to have more collaboration with definitely our Canadian friends. It's evolved over the years, and really use our website. There are a lot of tools. We have a great podcast called Research Perch. Some of you are, I'm sure, very familiar, so I know I'm preaching to the choir. But we have, I don't even know how many now, 60 over the past number of years, I think 8 years or so, we've had Research Perch. So check those out. We have developed a series of webinars that offer 1 CE in the States. We are going to work to have them hopefully get CEs in Canada. So that is on our agenda. But even for now, it's a good free resource and educational piece on a number of great topics. We have ebooks available for free. There's just a wealth of information. So if you're a teacher, we actually even have an ebook that's on how to teach research that we developed for educators to help them when teaching research. And so just, please use this as a tool. We're here to help as many folks as we can. If you have an educated client, in some cases, our website and some of our tools might be interested for that really educated client as well. And definitely for students and yourself and if you're a practitioner.
And if anybody loves writing, we're always looking for writers who want to write about research. So please send us an email. Gordon, if you know of any research articles that you would love, for us to help write about. We take the research articles and parse them and do infographics about them to help practitioners understand and make the content usable for everyday practice.
One of the things that is for us is a couple of years ago is interesting, and Amy Lynn probably remembers this, that one of the larger third-party insurers wrote an article about massage therapy in Canada, and basically said that it was no better than taking a 5-minute nap. And so, of course, that got a few people's backs up. And of course, in order to dispel this was to try and come up with the evidence that taking a nap may have its benefits, but certainly not to the extent of massage therapy treatment. But what was interesting is that there was a struggle of really being able to come forcefully with the individuals that had written that article by the third-party insurer. And so I think again having this resource available lends itself to when those individuals make these sort of outlandish statements that I think we can gather together and say, hey, I don't know where you're coming from here, but that's not necessarily correct. And so again, having the resources that you've created and are sharing freely with us is most welcome. So thanks for that. I see one of my colleagues on the management team of CMTA has joined us, Lori Green. So she's from Saskatchewan.
Welcome, Lori.
Hi, Laura.
Welcome, everybody. Sorry, I had a bit of a calamity, so I'm very late, but it's so nice to join our American friends.
It's great to have you with us, and we are recording, Lori, so.
Yes, I see that, so.
She'll hold me accountable for anything I said this week.
That's
Play
right.
back that
I
tape,
will
play
check
back.
that.
So when do the Canadians all gather? Like the we have a big massage conference here put on by the American Massage Therapy Association. Ours is at the end of August.
Right.
Um,
So that's something that we have not done. And in fact, I've planted the seed with my colleagues here to see about doing something next year in beautiful British Columbia. You know, this last fall, we were pleased to have Nikki and Doug come up and do presentations at our conference. We have close to 400 people that come to our conference every year. This year, we're not doing one because the regulator has decided that they're not doing a continuing education program, which I'm not sure how they are able to do that, given that it's in legislation, but that's his issue to deal with, not mine. So, but for 2024, we would like to do something in September, hopefully with a more national conference. So again, you know, I think having the resources, I mean, one of the interesting things for our conference at RMTBC in this last September was that we had a booth of the MTF, and I think we had a lot of traffic through there. So, you know, we certainly welcome the having Nikki and Doug and look forward to having more of those presentations and working more closely with all of you. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gordon. I want to say thank you to RMTBC and the CMTA for your partnerships with us. I think this is the start of something really new and a really exciting way to pioneer all of our efforts here in the industry. So I applaud both of your partnerships for supporting the foundation and supporting the industry as well. So
Well,
thanks everybody for coming.
Thanks for welcoming in as a partner. So we're more than pleased to be there. So onward and upward, I say.
Absolutely.
Yes.